Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to this week's Yin. Great to have you along. Let's head straight into the practice tonight. So we're going to start with 4 rounds of the moving meditation, the 3-part Taoist breath. So finding a comfortable sitting position, you could sit back on your heels, or you could sit up on a cushion for this one, or even up on a bolster if you need some more height. Settling into your position and starting with our arms at the sides. Arms at the sides and taking a breath in and slowly bringing our arms up. Exhale, taking our hands behind our head and out to the sides. Inhale, fingertips come towards your shoulders. And exhale, pressing your palms forward, chin to your chest, round your upper back. Turn your palms up and inhale, reaching up. Bit of a back bend if that's okay. And exhale, bowing all the way down. And rising back up. So that's 1 round. Breath in, reaching up. We're heading into our 2nd round. Exhale, bringing your hands behind your head and out to the sides. Inhale, as you bring your fingertips to your shoulders. And exhale, pressing your palms forward, chin to your chest, round your upper back. Turn your palms up. Inhale and reaching up. And exhale, bowing down. Rising back up for the 3rd round. Breath in, reaching up, really feeling into the movement. Exhale, hands behind your head and out to the sides. Inhale, fingertips to your shoulders. And exhale, press your palms forward, chin to your chest. Turn your palms up and inhale and reach up. Exhale as you bow down to the earth. Rising back up for 1 more round. Breathing in. And exhale, hands behind your head, out to the sides. Breath in, fingertips to your shoulders. And breath out, press your palms away, chin to your chest. Turn your palms up. Inhale as you reach up. And exhale as you bow down. Just rising back up to a sitting position. Just pause for a moment. You may need to change your leg position so you are comfortable. You can soften your gaze or close your eyes. And tuning into sensations in your body. You might notice subtle pulsation. Perhaps some of your body feels warmer or cooler. You might feel your heartbeat. Or your breath. We're just observing what's there. You may also notice your thoughts. Also, we can observe those and guide yourself back to sensations or to your breath. So we can gradually invite ourselves to be right here in this present moment. Now opening your eyes. If you had them closed, just bringing yourself up to your room. And we'll start first yin pose tonight. We will start with a reclined butterfly pose. So you'll need your bolster handy and a couple of blocks for this one. Going to bring our bolster out long along our mat and make a sturdy support with 2 blocks up one end of your bolster to raise the height at one end. Rest your bolster on it, make sure it's nice and stable. Depending on the height of your bolster as well, you may like to put a little bit of padding at the base of your bolster. And from there, we're going to lie back onto our bolster, shuffle around to make yourself comfortable. You can start with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And then when you're comfortable, you can bring the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to drop out to the sides. Place your arms just resting out to the sides of your body. If you feel like you need some support underneath your knees, you can use a couple of blocks, or you could also use some padding. It's feeling a little bit too much for your inner thighs. The blocks provide a nice support. And from here, let's all take a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Just having this sense of allowing your body to feel supported by your bolster, any other props, and the ground. And the principles of Yin Yoga come into each pose, and we find that edge, so that place where we're feeling something. So here we're particularly working our inner thighs. So if you're not feeling too much there, you might like to bring your feet closer in towards your body. Alternatively, if it's feeling too much, you can take them further away to lessen the stretch through your inner thighs. Once we've found that edge, we stay relatively still. And this allows time for the yin tissue of our body, which we are mainly working, or creating a positive stress through the yin tissue. Staying in the longer held poses allows for the yin tissue to soften. And this connective tissue runs right through our body. So it's an important part of movement. It's important though, if you do feel any pain or sharp stabbing sensations, too much sensation, you come out of the pose. Find a more supported option. Part of the practice is to be kind and gentle with ourselves. We can gradually invite that deepening in our body over time. And let's take 2 more breaths here, just in your own time. And when you've finished your breaths, we're going to bring our knees back up, place our feet flat on the floor. And then we're going to roll off our bolster. And then removing, so rolling to one side, removing your props to one side. And lying back down on your back. So you have the space on your mat, coming down onto your back. And let's place our feet flat on the floor with our knees bent. So out at the width of your mat, and drop one knee into the center at a time. It's windshield wiper. Our legs. And then let's take our legs out long just for a few moments here to feel the rebound. And taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through our mouth with an ah. We just allow a little bit of space to allow the energy to shift and flow and settle when we come out of each yin pose. Then you feel like the floodgates have opened. You feel a sense of energy flowing in a certain area, or you may not, and that's perfectly okay. And we'll leave the rebound now, and from here, staying lying on your back, to come into eye of the needle pose. So bring the soles of your feet to the floor with your knees bent. And let's place our left ankle over onto our right thigh. See how this feels? That may be enough. If it feels okay, bring your legs towards your torso. You can hold on at the front of your shin, or behind your thigh, or onto your knee, interlacing your fingers, depending on what feels comfortable. So here, We're wanting to feel the stretch through our left glutes, perhaps a little bit into the right hip as well. So left glutes and the band, the iliotibial band that runs from the pelvis up to the knee, out on the outer edge of your left thigh. If this is feeling too much for anyone, you can use a bolster underneath your buttocks here, sliding underneath for some support. And working in the same way. So experiment. Perhaps you might need some support under your lower back, your buttocks. You can also experiment with shifting your left ankle up or down your right thigh. So if you bring it closer towards your torso, down your right thigh, it will deepen the stretch through the iliotibial band on the left side of your left thigh. If you move it further up, that will lessen the stretch. Also softening through your arms, making sure you're not straining through your arms. Just tuning in to the sensations in your body. So the practice is an exploration of feeling the sensations. We spend so much of our lives in thinking and doing mode. And particularly as it gets closer to the end of the year for many of us, can feel quite pressured. It's important to balance out our doing with feeling and just being. And Yin Yoga is a great space to do this. And now let's release our hands, have them around your thigh, and place your feet to the floor. Both feet to the floor. And we're going to head straight over to the other side. So placing your right ankle on your left knee. And if it's okay, bringing your legs towards your torso, your chest. You're working with the bolster underneath your buttocks, working there. And adjusting the position of your right ankle along your either closer to your torso, along your left thigh, further away towards your knee. Noticing sensation in your right glutes and up your right iliotibial band, outside of your right thigh, from your pelvis to your knee. Using your breath here to soften, to feel and to soften. Observing any thoughts that are arising. Noticing if you're judging in any way. Just letting that go. Softening through your arms and your hands. Noticing the weight of your body on the ground, on your mat. Staying present with your breath. Taking 3 more breaths here in your own time. And when you've finished, releasing your hands and crossing your legs, placing your feet flat on your mat. You may like to do a windshield wiper. Or if you feel like bringing your knees into your chest, hugging your knees into your chest and gently rocking from side to side, or any other movement that feels organic for you. Just keep the movement relatively small and slow. And then taking your legs out long for a mini rest. Taking a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Noticing the sense of release as we feel the rebound. Now leaving the rebound, and let's roll to one side and using the support of your arms to bring yourself back up. So from here, we are going to move into just some gentle neck stretches. Find a comfortable sitting position, and from there we'll head into melting heart pose. So starting just by lengthening through your spine, and your shoulders rolling back and down, And then dropping your left ear towards your left shoulder. So if you have any neck issues, you may like to skip this one or go very cautiously. For anyone that feels okay, you may then like to explore a little bit by bringing your chin towards your chest. Noticing sensations in your neck, up the right side of your neck, perhaps even into your right shoulder. You've finished, bringing your head back up to the center, pausing for a moment. And when you're ready, taking your right ear towards your right shoulder. And if you're exploring, bring your chin towards your chest, noticing the stretch up the left side of your neck, perhaps into your left shoulder. When you're ready, bringing your head back to the center. And from here, let's move into melting heart pose. So for melting heart, make sure you have a nice amount of padding under your knees. Use an extra cushion or a blanket. It's very important to support your joints. We start in a four-pointed kneeling position. Our wrists under our shoulders and knees underneath our hips. And from here, we walk our hands forward. So keeping our hips stacked above our knees, dropping our chest, our torso towards the mat. You can rest your forehead on the mat. You can also play around with taking your arms a little bit out to the sides here. If you have any neck issues, make sure you use some support underneath your head. Use a cushion. If you do experience any tingling in your arms or hands, or if it feels too much, another option is to bend into your elbows, placing your arms on top of each other and rest your forehead on your hands or wrists. And if it's feeling a little bit much for your lumbar spine, you could give yourself some more support by resting up onto a bolster. My arms and my forehead resting on the bolster. So finding that edge. Noticing if you need to make any subtle adjustments, whether you've had enough, whether you can stay a little bit longer. Be here for about another 30 seconds. Using your breath to soften. And from here, let's start to make our way out of melting heart. Okay, walking back up onto our hands. You may like to come right up and be vertical for a moment. And we'll feel the rebound in child's pose. So you can go into your version of child's pose if it feels okay. Taking your arms behind you, allowing your forehead to rest on the floor. Or you could rest your forehead up a little bit higher on a blanket. And let's let out a sigh here. So taking a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Now slowly coming back up. And from here, we're going to head into dragon lunge pose. So taking a couple of blocks and placing them up one end of your mat on either side. Make sure you have some padding underneath your knees here. Coming up onto your padding. And let's start by stepping our left foot forward in between the blocks. And from here, I'll just move the block so you can see, we're shuffling our right knee back. So you can untuck your right toes and shuffle your right knee back until you start to feel it down the front of your right thigh, so your right hip flexor. Making sure that your left knee is stacked over your left ankle. So you can use them, you can come up a little bit higher if that's more comfortable for you, using the blocks vertical. Seeing how your body feels, how deep you can go into the lunge. If you're finding it a little bit too much for your wrists, you could slightly bend into your elbows and feeling the weight going back towards the palms of your hands. Seeing if that lessens the sensations in your wrists. And starting to tune into what you can feel if you're not already doing that. Making any subtle adjustments that you need to. This is quite a strong pose, so we won't be here for too much longer. And feeling the strength and a balance of the softness. And perhaps this softness is a softening of your mind. Noticing if you're resisting in your mind. Now let's from here release the blocks to one side and take your leg back, left leg back. Just do any movement that feels organic for you. You may like to come up and roll your wrists. You can roll around your hips, your shoulders. And then setting up for the other side. Setting up your blocks once again and taking your right foot forward. Shuffling your left knee back. You start to feel it up the front of your left thigh, your left hip flexor. You may feel it into your right hip as well. If you do feel any compression at the front of your right hip, you can take your right leg out a little bit to go around that point of compression where your pelvis may be touching your femur. Settling into your dragon lunge. Accessing the quality of a peaceful warrior. Strength and softness. Staying present with your breath, with sensations in your body. Making any subtle adjustments. And now let's release out of the pose. Releasing your blocks to one side. You may like to do a little bit of movement, or you can just head down onto your back. That is where we will meet. Heading onto your back. Bringing, having your knees bent and feet flat on the floor. And just gently windshield wiper. Just noticing, feel any different, your legs, when we started. And taking our legs out long just for a deep rest. Taking a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Just inviting this gradual letting go. Noticing any subtle pulsation. Or whatever you can feel. It's your exploration. And from here, we're going to come into a spinal twist. So if you know your preferred version of spinal twist, head in at your own pace. Otherwise, following along, bringing your knees into your chest, taking your arms out to the sides at shoulder height. And let's drop our knees over to the right side. You need to adjust your hips a little bit to the left, just ensuring that your left shoulder is pinned to your mat. And if your knees are hovering a little bit off the ground, place a bolster underneath your knees to rest them on. You can also experiment with bringing your knees closer to your torso or further away from your torso. So you can find that edge that is just right for you. And as a final option, if you're to work a little bit of a deeper twist, bring your knees back to the center and cross your left leg knee over your right. May like to tuck your left foot underneath your right calf and dropping your knees over to the left. You can also use a bolster underneath your knees for this one. Finding your twist. And if your neck is okay, you can look over towards your right hand. Having this sense of softening your buttocks and your pelvic bowl and your thighs, all the way down your legs to your feet. Just resting here in your twist. Nothing to do, just be. As you're being, you might like to invite a sense of peace into your whole being. Staying present with what you can feel. Let's take 3 more breaths here, just in your own time. Already bringing your knees back to the center, readjusting your hips. If you feel like you need a little bit of movement, do that in your own time. Otherwise, heading straight over to the other side. Bringing your knees into your chest, dropping your knees over to your left side. Shuffling your hips a little bit to the right as needed. You can use a bolster underneath your knees if you're working there. Noticing if this side feels different. And adjusting your knees either closer in towards your body or further away. Find that nice juicy twist. If you're working twisted roots, to go a little bit deeper. This time we're crossing our right knee over our left, bringing our right foot underneath our left calf, if it will go there, dropping our knees over to the left. Support your knees with a bolster, if need be. Also look over towards your right hand, if your neck's okay. Otherwise, stay looking towards the ceiling. Connecting in with your breath, all with sensations. So you are resting and present. Just being. And continue to feel or invite a sense of peace into your whole being. If that doesn't feel right for you, just leave that. Finding that in the stillness, I still have lots of thoughts. That's perfectly okay. It takes lots of practice to train our mind and body to relax. And it is possible for all of us. And just stay with observing the thoughts. Guide yourself back to your breath. And let's take 2 more breaths here, just in your own time. And then bring your knees back to the center, adjusting your hips to the center. May like to bring your knees in towards your chest, wrap your arms around your knees and gently rock from side to side, just to give your lower back a gentle massage. And allow your head to rock as well, if that feels okay. When you're finished rocking, preparing yourself for our final rest in Shavasana. Making sure you're nice and warm. You may like to put a blanket over you, put socks on or extra layers. So you can rest on your back, or you may like to rest with your feet flat on the floor and your knees bent. Another option is to place a bolster underneath your knees here. Can feel quite nice for energy flow out of your pelvis, down your legs. Just make sure you are completely comfortable. We'll be resting here for about 7 minutes or so. I'll start by guiding you in a body awareness practice, and then we'll simply move into stillness. Start by bringing your awareness to your heels, and feeling your heels in contact with the mat. We're doing both sides at the same time, and now noticing your feet, softening your feet. I'm noticing your lower legs and softening. Your knees and your thighs and softening. Noticing the back of your legs, so the part of your legs that is connected to the bolster or to the mat. Just being aware of that connection. Moving your awareness to your buttocks and your lower back, feeling those contact points with your mat and the ground. And then softening your buttocks and your pelvic bowl. Noticing the part of your back which is resting on the mat. Might be your whole back. And softening your whole back. And now softening the front of your torso. Go up through your rib cage, right up to your shoulders, softening. And feeling your shoulder blades in contact with the ground. And softening. Softening the tops of your shoulders, making any subtle adjustments. Moving your awareness down your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, hands, all the way down to your fingertips, softening. And now notice the back of your arms and your hands, the parts that are in contact with the ground. Bringing your awareness now to your neck and your throat, softening the skin. Now to your jaw and your whole face, exploring this in your own way. Letting go any tension. Sides of your head, around your ears, top of your head softening, and the back of your head. Feeling the back of your head in contact with the ground. Now bringing your awareness to all of the points of your body that you can feel touching the ground. So you are grounded, connected to the earth. Resting in stillness. In this space of being. Let's start to bring our awareness back. Just slowly start to bring a bit of movement into your hands, your fingers, your toes and your feet. Move the movement into your legs and your arms. Take a big stretch out if that feels right. Stretching out arms above your head. Point your toes, stretch into your legs. And release. And then roll to one side. Just pause for a moment. And then use the support of your arms to bring yourself back up to a comfortable sitting position. Let's bring one hand to our heart center and one hand down onto our belly. Bow our head towards our heart. Just taking a moment here to feel gratitude towards yourself for taking the time to practice simply being through Yin Yoga. And let's honor others who are practicing in the group this week. And let's also honor our sacred earth, which we all share. Gives us ground for our experience of life. Let's bring our hands to prayer in our heart center. And together, let's say namaste. Namaste. If you enjoyed the practice tonight, if you have any questions or if you need some different options, please do feel free to contact me for a chat. Otherwise, love to see you next week. And I wish you a good week. Okay. Bye for now.